Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eastchester Union Free School District podcast. I'm your host, Joe Blute, and we are here with a very special guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the principal of Eastchester Middle School, Madelin LoBue.
Why, thank you. That was quite an introduction.
Of course, absolutely. Well, I first met you, I guess now 3 years ago. I think Dr. Moran was the middle school principal. Were you here with Dr. Moran?
I was, yes.
Okay.
I've been in the district since 2017, so he was the superintendent that initially hired me as the middle school assistant principal.
Gotcha. And when did you become the principal?
2021.
Okay.
So this is my fourth year in that role, having served 4 years prior as the assistant principal.
Amazing. And you are now our tenured principal.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly honored by that.
It is incredibly well deserved. I have never seen you where you're not doing a bunch of things at once and you still find the time to do all the video requests that we have for you and whatnot. So you're incredibly impressive.
Well, thank you for collaborating with me because it's important for the community to see the good work that's done at Eastchester Middle School throughout the day, the wonderful accomplishments of our students, and I could never say enough amazing and wonderful things about our very caring and loving staff. So if we could showcase that through your videos that are really amazing and of high quality, that is certainly appreciated by everyone.
Well, thank you. My videos are only the reflection of the greatness that's within them. If you can introduce yourself, I mean, again, right, you've been here for a long time now, and you are a tenured principal, and a lot of people obviously know who you are, but maybe for people who don't, or maybe people who, see this outside the district, if you could just kind of give a little bit of an introduction for yourself, and if you could tell us about your background.
Oh, sure. So I grew up on Long Island, and I attended public schools there that I'm very proud of, and I started my career as a special education high school teacher in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So having been raised in Long Island in a suburban school district and then serving a community such as New York City and specifically Williamsburg during the transitional time of that type of that part of the city specifically was beyond an experience for me. I certainly credit all the experience that I gained there to the professional growth that I've had throughout the years. It was eye-opening, it was rewarding, and certainly much learning took place on my part there.
I'm sorry, what did you do at?
Yeah, I was in Williamsburg for 4 years as a high school special education teacher. So I was working with students with disabilities in grades 9 through 12 at that time. And while there, I took over additional responsibilities as the student activities coordinator. So we were planning the prom, we were planning the senior trip that was a ski trip, and it was really eye-opening and rewarding to see the inner city students experience an overnight trip out of the city. So I see the benefits of that, of students having opportunities to socialize within a structured setting, yet outside the school environment. That's why I'm such a supporter of having our Washington and Boston trips back at our middle school, because there are certainly many, many benefits to that, and of course, memorable experiences in school.
Very memorable experiences. This is one of the nice things about having gone through the entire school district, because I remember the Boston and Washington trip when I went on it like yesterday, and I remember everything that we did, all the roommates that I had, the friends that I stayed with, and it's a trip like that you don't forget.
Right. It's great to see the high school kids just giving a high five or a pound and saying, still remember Washington, and them having that experience as something that's positive and for them almost rewarding, because we expect certain behaviors and a certain type of student to be able to earn that experience. So it's something to look forward to for sure.
And then they probably reminisce on a bunch of stories that happened throughout
all
the
the
trip.
time. Overeating candy probably tops it all.
There was one, what is it in Boston, Quincy Market?
Yes.
Is there a big candy store in Quincy Market?
There are multiple.
Okay.
And probably for the chaperones, it's probably the best spot, because we get to enjoy our lobster rolls there.
Ooh, yeah. The trips are incredible. Thank you for continuing to do that, because they are so important. Really quickly, just out of curiosity, how did you feel your time in Williamsburg? How do you feel like it really prepared you for the job that you're working right now, especially to going from everything that you were running, as you said, with all the activities and within special education, to kind of transitioning to become a principal?
Sure. So actually, after I left Williamsburg, that experience took me to two Long Island school districts.
Okay.
So I worked in the Valley Stream Central High School districts for 8 years. I started there as a special ed teacher with the experience from Williamsburg. And while there, I finished up my second master's degree in school administration and had the opportunity to transition to a department chair job that required me to chair all the CSC meetings and supervise the department. So that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I was there for, like I said, for 8 years, and certainly learned the experience in my administrative work began there. Once I left Valley Stream in 2013, I went to the Hewlett-Woodmere Public Schools, to Woodmere Middle School, where I was the special ed department chair there, and that was only a middle school setting. Okay. So again, all the gained experience from the previous two settings, took it to Hewlett-Woodmere, and I learned something there that I absolutely love working with middle school age learners. So that was my first middle school only experience. The Valley Stream School was 7 through 12.
Gotcha.
So in Hewlett-Woodmere, I said, well, I really love my job here, and if something else comes up closer to home, since most people know I live in Bergen County in New Jersey, I'll transition, but it has to be only a middle school. And having been raised and lived on Long Island previous to moving to Bergen County after I got married in 2007, I found this opening. I said, assistant principal, middle school, Eastchester. I said, well, I don't know where Eastchester is, and I've never been there, but proximity-wise, it looks pretty manageable from where I live. And the rest is history here in Eastchester. I went on the interviews and absolutely loved the district and what it was about, even from the start, and don't see myself anywhere else.
Well, we're beyond grateful that your passion was in middle school that led you to this position. What was it about middle school that really made you just fall in love with it and want to stay?
Sure. So it's funny because when we interview teacher candidates, that's the first question we ask on the committee interview. Once we screen them virtually, we bring them in, we say, what about middle school makes it a special place to teach, and why do you want it to be here? So now you're putting me on the spot to answer that question. And there's so much, right? It's like, there's so much to say. It's an age that the students are so impressionable, yet they want to be able to please. They're at a developmental age that they need so much from us in terms of providing a structured environment where they're challenged, yet they feel there are parameters for them to make healthy choices, whether socially, academically. They're going from the elementary age where they're children to developmentally into teenage years, and we see everything of them through coming in almost like 11-year-olds. Sometimes they're still 10, turning 11, and they're babies, and they leave with a deep voice, and they're 6 inches taller. So besides physically, emotionally too, the hormonally, everything about it gives for us opportunities to provide an environment where we're going to be oftentimes shaping where the trajectory of their education goes after they leave us. So for helping them find their interests academically, socially, build friendships, make choices, and make decisions in an environment where they feel like they're loved. I often say that to parents, that what academically is certainly the reason why we're here. We're here to provide them an education that's going to prepare them for high school and beyond, and to give them the best that we absolutely can give them academically. Yet, if you think about it, they won't be able to reach those academic points and score high on tests and perform well on Regents exams if we don't ensure that they come to school and we provide an environment that's loving and caring. Because once a child feels safe, that's when the learning and the success happens. So it's almost like we got to make sure that the middle school environment is one where they want to come to school, where they feel like they're cared for, feel like they're loved, and it's warm and it's inviting. And once that happens, I feel like even disciplinary-wise, they don't want to let you down.
Right.
Because the trust has been set, and they know that you care about them.
I'm going to get to everything that you do, everything that the middle school does to create that incredible environment in a second. I do just want to respond to what you were saying, where, yeah, it's easy to forget that the kids are really at a very, I don't want to use the word,
It's almost fragile, I would say.
fragile. Like
Yeah.
it's the biggest time where they're just like the most malleable in a way.
Sure. It's like we can shape their minds and help them develop their ideas to be able to identify what their interests are. And we want them to take risks academically, socially. We want them to put themselves out there and try new things. And yet, at the same time, we want to build structure so
Right.
that they're safe. And one of the things that the students at Eastchester Middle School hear every single morning, besides greeting them as a family, we say, "Good morning, EMS family. Once you come to our school, you're part of our school family." So we want to make sure that they hear that every day. And we say, we're our family. Family takes care of each other. So we want to build an environment that if your friend needs help or you see something, that you say something and that you know you're never going to be in trouble for reporting things that help your family.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Reporting things that keep us safe together.
Gotcha.
And every morning they hear remember to do two things: to be kind to one another and make good choices.
Okay.
So if we can go out through their day with that mindset, it helps them focus on their academics and helps promote that safe environment.
And so all of that is really where your passion lies within education, especially with this age group.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate for the support outside of the school. Higher administration in the district, our Board of Education has been supportive in ensuring that we're well funded. In the last few years, we've brought in a tremendous amount of resources, including our fourth counseling position that helps us accomplish those things, and the school assembly programs that we bring. Really, we align those with our counseling curriculum that the students see the school counselor monthly. So for the month of January, which we're extending a theme of kindness. Next week on the 30th, we have a special guest speaker. His name is Brian Williams. Then he promotes kindness, and he
Okay.
comes and speaks about that. And then the students are going to be involved in other activities in their school-wide initiatives, and in addition to their monthly guidance lesson that aligns with that theme. So that's just an example of the work that we do to accomplish that.
Of course, and I was just going to say, you answered a lot of what my next question was, which was, what does the middle school do? What are the actions that you take, that the faculty takes in order to ensure that the environment is safe, positive, reaffirming? I know you just gave some examples, but are there any other specifics, maybe to collaboration that goes on behind the scenes that maybe
Sure.
the community isn't able to see on the daily, or even the kids for that matter?
Yeah, so one of the things that's special about our school is also that we have the academic teams. So now you take the entire grade and you divided it into half. So what does that do for us? It basically minimizes our teacher to student ratio. It minimizes the administrative student ratio when we work with that teaching team, when the school counselor comes in, and we have structures such as our team meeting time, where behind the scenes we're not only talking about instruction and making decisions with the curriculum and planning, but there are opportunities for us. When I say us, the counselors, psychologists, and administration, to work directly with the teachers. And if Johnny's having a hard time in math, he may not be having a difficult time in ELA. And, well, let's find out what's going on in math. Or they're coming in late to school, but, well, they're on time for other classes, so let's find out what's going on in the morning. So it's very much that team structure gives for us to give a more of an individualized level of support to students.
No, that's wonderful to hear. And what I take from it are two big things. The first is the structure that is laid out. And it's wonderful, too, because then I'm able to be educated about things that I never knew as a student, as a middle school student.
This is what went on behind the scenes, right?
Exactly. I'm like, why was there a team A and B? What was the point? And now hearing it, it makes a lot of sense. The first that I take away from it is the structure allows for a real specific approach with the students. And it allows for a real specificity to really zero in on each student as an individual and to address each individual's needs. At least that's what I'm hearing. Where
Yes, it does. And a personal goal, I try to learn as many of the students' names as possible, because if I walk in the hall, I don't want to just say, "Hey, good morning, bud. Good morning, sweetie." I want to say,
Right.
"Good morning, Joe. Have a great day today. Have a good lunch period." And that's team structure allows us to really talk about students individually and plan for them and bring parents into conversations, because we have that structure. If a parent were to request a meeting, they get to see all of their students' teachers at once
Right.
within that structure. So there's a lot that we can do and that we do with that.
Exactly. And that's very important to do too. Just even right, that connectivity of really knowing the student. I think it does. I think that makes a tremendous difference. And to my second point, from what I heard about this structure, when you explained it, what I thought of was, because I've heard it a lot in the district now since I got back about social emotional learning.
Sure.
It sounds a lot like this structure and what goes on behind the scenes. There's a constant, consistent effort in order to make sure that the social emotional aspect of every middle schooler's learning is at the forefront of education, and making sure that they're they're well and they're mentally healthy and whatnot. So to hear that is very reaffirming.
Oh, absolutely. That's the priority. Safety and emotional safety and security.
What are the unintended good consequences of all of these efforts that you do behind the scenes and that the middle school faculty does behind the scenes to make sure that students are in a very positive environment and they're
Great.
feeling good?
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you mentioned the faculty and staff, including our new assistant principal this year, Mr. Ryan Carroll, comes with an incredible amount of experience, having served as a principal in New York City in a school, in a charter school setting.
wow.
So having worked with that population, again, bringing that experience to Eastchester, a compassionate leader that's well-versed in curriculum, it's the perfect combination for us and what we needed. I wish I brought specific stats to show you, and it's something that I hope to make some time, maybe on a weekend, and break down some numbers. But for certain, I was an assistant principal for 4 years and in charge of the discipline in the building. And I can tell you that in the last recent years, we've had a significant amount of reduction in our disciplinary numbers. And I measure that from something simple as a distraction in class where a teacher may need to send a student out for some time, or, it's minimal numbers. It's not that we've ever had a significant need, of things that are outrageous in the middle school at all. I'm not saying that, but even just the way that I see the level of engagement, and when there is no disruption in the classroom, everyone else is engaged. So that puts everyone else back on task in class. And I credit that to all the collaborative work that we've done in the building. I don't want to put out numbers because I would love to just break that down one day, because it's certainly in my mind.
Sure.
But I can tell you it's absolutely significant.
So with all your middle school experience, what is different about, I guess there's two parts to this question, but what is different about Eastchester from other middle schools?
Mm-hmm.
And what have you done in your time here, particularly as the principal of Eastchester Middle School, to make Eastchester Middle School stand out and different from other middle schools?
Well, I don't want to take too much credit because, again, I credit the entire faculty. This is such a a collaborative approach. And I have to say what's different here is that it's a caring community. This is the fourth school that I work in my now 23-year career. And I can pick up the phone and call a parent, and they are going to be supportive of our efforts. And it starts at home, right? We can only expect so much at school, and we can share the handbook with parents and say these are our expectations. But if it doesn't start at home and our work isn't reinforced, we're a complete partnership. So I appreciate the efforts of the community. I think that it's a very united community that's here for a joint reason to provide a solid education for their students so they can thrive in an environment that provides opportunities and that provides safety and growth for them, right? So I credit that, and I credit the faculty and staff. We're on the same page. We share our vision. We share expectations. And if it wasn't for the partnership among the community and the school and the trust, I cannot overstate how appreciative I am that we have that trust of the community. So whether being new to EMS or having had an older sibling at EMS, it's really a beautiful thing to know that the parents trust us and trust our work.
Sure. What are the programs that have been introduced in your tenure here that separates Eastchester from other middle schools? And that could be anything from curriculum, from added activities to newfound philosophies. What has been added in your tenure?
We have many things that make EMS special, starting with our caring and dedicated staff, our incredibly talented school counselors that I often say they're like the most professionally talented group of school counselors I've worked with, and I mean that for every sense of the word, in all the schools where I've worked. And they certainly go out of their way to support kids, to support families, and to work with staff to accomplish that goal. In the past few years, we've expanded our enrollment in earth science and in algebra in the 8th grade. So those opportunities are already setting students in a trajectory of further academic opportunities at the high school. In the lower grades, we've added world language exploratory at the 6th grade level and a study skills class that prepares 6th graders to take on the challenges academically that come in middle school and learn note-taking skills, prioritizing assignments, and organizational skills that align with being having success academically. And again, supportive, so appreciative of the support that we have. And one of the minor things that we did was, in elementary school, they have what they call specials. And in high school, there are electives because those students at high school, they're able to elect what courses they're going to take outside of the mandatory core subjects. And at the middle school, our subject areas or classes that are students enrolling outside of the academic classes are called exploratories. And we refer to them as that because, again, middle school is an opportunity for students to explore their interests and gain insight into what they may want to focus further in high school and then focus their electives in high school based on their interests that they explored and learned about themselves in middle school.
I do want to comment on all those programs, not only having been lucky enough to have showcased and filmed them and to really have seen
this is true.
the
Yes,
inside
right.
perspective. But what's, again, I guess this is the nice thing about, having gone through the school district, because those programs were not there when I was in middle school. With the exploratory language, that's absolutely a grand slam to be introduced to a language and get a feel for it before you decide where you want to spend your time learning about which language. Because when I was in middle school, we started in 7th grade, we did not start in 6th, and we had to pick one. And the students kind of went into it rather blindly. With the exploratory, to really get a feel for what you like and what you want to do, that program is fantastic.
Sure, it certainly offers opportunities to the students for sure.
With earth science and algebra, what the middle school has done with it, the opportunity to, or just that, to give the opportunity to students a chance at higher learning or, something that's more academically rigorous, I think is really wonderful.
Sure, and we accomplish this through additional supports that we provide. So for students that may not necessarily automatically be enrolled in the higher classes while in 8th grade, we provide a workshop on alternating days with the teachers assigned to them that can reinforce lessons, pre-teach or reteach or review, and prepare them to go back to class and have access to the instruction based on the supplemental work and supplemental review that they've received.
Wow. So there really is no child that's left in the dust.
We hope not.
What's the kind of the main objective or the main mission that you strive for as the principal of the middle school?
Sure. So again, when we opened up this conversation, I want the middle school to be a special place to learn, grow, and work. So how do we accomplish all of those? That's pretty loaded. I want the staff to feel appreciated because they do amazing work that leads to our student success. I want them to feel that every day they come in and they provide amazing instruction and that they're appreciated. I want the students to feel cared for, to feel loved, to feel that they're in a learning environment that gives for a safe and supportive environment of where they can build friendships, lasting memories, and achieve academically and build those foundations that they're going to need to be very successful and, like true eagles, soar high when they get to Eastchester High School.
And just out of curiosity, have there been any students that kind of came up to you when they were leaving 8th grade to, comment on the impact that yourself, the faculty, the school has made on them?
We usually do see tears at the last day of school in 8th grade. And whether it's that they're going to miss us or the anticipation of high school, there are many tears that we see shed, and the students share that they're going to miss middle school. So it's certainly special. We don't want to see them sad, but but it's certainly special because it shows the impact that middle school or the work that we do has.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be nothing more fulfilling than that is.
Yeah, for sure. I really hope that the students that attend Eastchester Middle School feel like, I can't say enough, so that they feel like they're cared for in a sense, and they're all my kids. Like besides my biological 2 boys that are now 13 and 15, I have 697 other ones at school. So I certainly hope that they feel like I treated them like my own children.
Ah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I failed to mention the opportunities, addition to the exploratories and our rigorous academics that we provide and the support to achieve in those rigorous academic courses. We have an array of after-school clubs and opportunities where there's that structure to take those social risks and find commonality among you and other students. So if you have an interest in chess, you may not know there's an 8th grader that does, and you're a 6th grader or 7th, and now you just found a new friend. And not to mention, have you seen the Players Club performances?
Right. Yeah.
They are pretty professional and incredible.
Absolutely.
We have our music clubs. We have, of course, our Washington and Boston clubs that the students are able to help plan the trips. They get to pick the T-shirt designs, and they get to help with the itinerary for the day, and so many other aspects of planning the trips that they're able to contribute to through joining the club with those advisors that plan those trips. So, I can go on and on for days, and we have so many opportunities, including our newspaper club. That's a really wonderful opportunities for kids to have an after-school structured environment. Again, safety, structure, and opportunities for social growth.
Is there anything else that you would just like to personally add about the middle school and your time here?
I believe it's for the first time ever. We're in the top middle schools in New York State, as ranked by U.S. News and World Reports. And while I'm sure that recognition doesn't quantify everything we do at EMS and all of our efforts, we'll take that sprinkle of recognition and appreciation any day, because we do collaboratively with, again, the staff, do an amazing job at our goal of fostering the environment that we really work hard to cultivate. So if it comes in the form of U.S. News, we'll take that sprinkle of appreciation because it's well-deserved.
You've done an incredible job as the principal of this middle school, so congratulations to everything that you have accomplished. Just literally the last one, out of curiosity, what is your favorite part about being principal?
Wow, you should have prepared me for that question. Again, it has to be working with the kids. Seeing their smiley and cold and tired faces in the morning, and then seeing their excitement during lunch, and throughout the day. So being with the kids as much as possible. So after I left the classroom, my opportunity to see them is the cafeteria and the hallway, pretty much, unless I'm visiting classrooms, which we do often. But in a sense of the time I get to see them, and try to be as available and as around as much as I can to see them as much as possible.
Madelin, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Much. Thank you. This was wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us again on the Eastchester Union Free School District podcast. We will see you on the next episode.